Welcome, spicy ladies. The most powerful presence is the one that doesn't beg to be noticed. Sigma females don't walk through life seeking attention, yet they command it. They don't crave power, yet they have it. And they don't set out to intimidate, yet something about them leaves people uneasy. It's not because they're trying to be mysterious. It's because they move differently. They observe instead of react. They understand instead of assume. And they detach instead of cling. What makes this even more chilling is that most of the time, they don't even realize they're doing it. While others rely on words to assert themselves, Sigma females do it in silence. A single look from them can make someone rethink their entire behavior. A well-timed pause in conversation can expose hidden insecurities, and their ability to predict outcomes before they happen makes it feel like they're always 5 steps ahead. But here's what you need to know. This is not a flaw. This is not something to suppress. This is what makes you a Sigma female. You don't follow the script that society expects, and because of that, people don't know how to categorize you. They admire you, fear you, respect you, and sometimes they just don't know what to do with you. Let them wonder. Let them feel unsettled. Your presence alone shifts the energy in a room, and that's something no amount of words or forced charisma can replicate. Let's explore 10 spine-chilling things Sigma females do without realizing it. Number 1, they feel like a living paradox. Most people are easy to figure out. They're either warm or cold, kind or harsh, present or distant. But a Sigma female, she is all of these things at once, shifting between them effortlessly, leaving people completely unsure of where they stand with her. One moment she's deeply engaged in a conversation, making someone feel like they're the only person in the room. The next she's unreachable, like she's mentally checked out, lost in a world of her own. She can be kind, offering genuine wisdom and support, yet when pushed, she won't hesitate to be ruthless, cutting off toxicity without a shred of hesitation. She gives just enough to keep people intrigued, but never so much that they fully understand her. And that's what makes her so unsettling. People are wired to categorize others, to put them into neat little boxes. But the Sigma female doesn't fit into any of them. She's not the stereotypical ice queen, nor is she the endlessly nurturing type. She can be warm and inviting yet maintain an emotional distance that makes her feel untouchable. She listens intently, but good luck trying to read her. She's present yet somehow not entirely there. This duality keeps people on edge. Some become obsessed with trying to figure her out, only to realize that every time they think they've cracked the code, she shifts again. Others find it frustrating. How can someone be both approachable and untouchable at the same time? How can someone make you feel seen, yet still remain a mystery? But the truth is, she isn't trying to confuse anyone. She simply refuses to be one-dimensional. She embodies contradiction because she has mastered the art of balance, kindness with boundaries, presence with detachment, warmth with unshakable independence. Number 2, they can predict the collapse of relationships before it happens. Most people don't notice a relationship falling apart until it's too late. They ignore the warning signs, get blindsided by betrayals, and scramble to make sense of what went wrong. But a Sigma female sees it coming long before anyone else does. She doesn't need dramatic fights or obvious betrayals to know when something is off. She picks up on the subtle shifts, the hesitation in someone's voice, the way their texts become shorter, the slight delay before they answer a call. She notices when someone stops making eye contact as often, when their words feel rehearsed, or when their energy starts to pull away. Most people brush off these details, but a Sigma female connects the dots instantly. She doesn't just hear what's being said. She listens to the pauses, the gaps, the unspoken truths. And because she's wired to analyze patterns, she often knows a relationship is headed for disaster long before the other person even realizes there's a problem. But here's what makes her different. She doesn't panic. She doesn't beg for reassurance or cling to false hope. Instead, she mentally prepares. While the other person is still pretending everything is fine, she's already detaching, processing, and deciding whether the relationship is worth saving or if it's time to let go. This ability can be unsettling to others. They don't understand how she can walk away without breaking down. They don't see the months, sometimes years, of quiet observation that led to her decision. By the time she leaves, she has already grieved, already accepted the outcome, already made peace with the loss. And that's what makes her so powerful. She never gets caught off guard. She never clings to something that's already dying. When she walks away, she does so with clarity, with certainty, and without looking back. Because for her, the real heartbreak isn't losing someone, it's wasting time on something she knew was doomed from the start. Right now, if you are still watching, I hope this video can help you. Your comments motivate me so much, so I can make more videos which you like. So hit that subscribe button and leave me a message. Let's continue. Number 3. They don't announce their moves, yet they're always steps ahead. Most people talk, announce their plans, seek validation, or try to prove they're in control. But a Sigma female moves in silence. She doesn't make noise, doesn't seek permission, and certainly doesn't waste time explaining herself. Yet when the dust settles, she's exactly where she intended to be. While everyone else is still trying to figure out how she got there, this isn't luck, it's strategy. A Sigma female is always observing, calculating, and adapting. While others react to life as it happens, she's already seen the pattern, already anticipated the moves. She notices the power dynamics in a room, the shifting alliances in relationships, the silent tensions that others ignore. She doesn't just listen to what people say, she pays attention to what they don't say. And because of this, she rarely gets blindsided. People only realize too late that she saw the ending before they even understood the beginning. When someone tries to manipulate her, she's already 3 steps ahead, waiting for them to reveal their hand. When she walks away from a situation, people assume it was sudden, but in reality, she had been planning her exit long before they even sensed a shift. She never warns, never brags, never seeks validation. She simply moves quietly, intentionally, and with an eerie level of precision. This can be unsettling for those who underestimate her. They assume she's passive because she doesn't make a show of her intelligence. They assume she's predictable because she doesn't react emotionally. But by the time they realize their mistake, she's already outmaneuvered them. And the best part is, she doesn't need to explain how she did it. The results speak for themselves. Number 4. They can disconnect from their emotions like flipping a switch. Most people are slaves to their emotions. They react without thinking, get pulled into drama they never wanted, and let others control them by pushing the right emotional buttons. But a Sigma female is different. She doesn't just feel emotions, she controls them. And when necessary, she can shut them off like flipping a switch. This isn't about being heartless, it's about survival. The world is filled with manipulators, people who use guilt, anger, and sympathy as weapons to get what they want. Most fall for it. They argue, defend themselves, and let their emotions spiral. But a Sigma female recognizes the game instantly. Instead of playing along, she disconnects. No reaction, no emotional outburst, just silence and a steady gaze that makes the manipulator feel like they're punching air. To outsiders, this can seem cold, even ruthless. They wonder why she doesn't cry when expected, why she doesn't chase after people who mistreat her, why she walks away without looking back. But what they don't realize is that she feels deeply. She just refuses to be controlled by those feelings. She knows that emotions can be a weapon in the wrong hands, and she refuses to let anyone use hers against her. This ability unnerves people. They expect guilt to work, but it doesn't. They expect anger to provoke her, but it won't. They expect her to beg, plead, and crumble, but instead, she remains still, unaffected, and unreadable. And that's terrifying to those who rely on emotional reactions to manipulate others. But here's the truth. This isn't a flaw, it's power. It's the ability to stay in control when others lose themselves. It's the ability to walk away from toxic situations without hesitation. It's the ability to choose logic over emotional traps. Because in the end, a Sigma female isn't emotionless, she's just untouchable. Number 5, they make people feel replaceable without trying. Most people are used to relationships, whether friendships, romantic connections, or even workplace dynamics, being built on a silent give and take of emotional validation. They expect to be needed, to be missed, to have a sense of irreplaceability in someone's life. But when they encounter a Sigma female, that illusion shatters. Sigma females don't rely on others to define their worth. They don't chase, beg, or hold on to relationships out of fear of being alone. They move through life with the quiet understanding that people come and go, and that no one, no matter how significant, should hold power over their emotional stability. This is where things get uncomfortable for others. They realize, often too late, that a Sigma female doesn't need them. She might want them in her life, but that's not the same as needing them. And when someone senses they're wanted but not necessary, it rattles them. A Sigma female's emotional self-sufficiency makes people question their importance. They start to wonder, would she even notice if I left? The truth is, she might notice, but she won't fall apart. She won't beg for closure or drown in what-ifs. She'll simply adjust, recalibrate, and move forward because that's what she does. This doesn't mean she's heartless. She values deep connections, but she refuses to let attachment turn into dependency. And those who expect to be the center of her world are left feeling small, replaceable, and unsettled. But here's the brutal truth. That's their insecurity, not hers. A Sigma female's strength isn't in making people feel unwanted. It's in showing them, without a single word, that her world doesn't revolve around anyone but herself. Number 6. They make guilt surface without accusation. Most people demand apologies, confront betrayal, or try to force guilt onto those who wronged them. But a Sigma female doesn't need to. She never chases an apology, never begs for accountability, and yet somehow, the people who have wronged her often end up confessing without her ever saying a word. It's not magic, it's the weight of her silence. The way she carries herself after betrayal is what makes people squirm. She doesn't lash out, doesn't seek revenge, doesn't try to prove a point. Instead, she withdraws, calm, controlled, and completely unbothered. And that drives guilty people insane. Most expect anger, arguments, confrontations, or an emotional breakdown. But when a Sigma female simply walks away without a word, it leaves a void. A void that guilty minds can't handle. Suddenly, they start replaying every lie, every selfish move, every betrayal, wondering just how much she saw, how much she knew. And the truth is, she saw it all. She knew before they even thought they had fooled her. The silence is suffocating. The absence of drama is deafening. Without resistance, without a chance to justify or manipulate, the weight of their actions falls entirely on them. And that's when the confessions start, out of nowhere. The messages come in. I just wanted to clear the air. Or I don't know if you knew, but they scrambled to explain themselves, to ease their own conscience, to get a reaction. But she's already moved on. She never needed their apology. She never needed closure. Because the real power wasn't in the confrontation. It was in the quiet realization that she was never fooled to begin with. And that's a weight no guilty person can escape. Number 7. They make authority figures question their own power. Most people either fear authority or admire it. They seek approval, follow orders, or at the very least pretend to respect the hierarchy. But a Sigma female does none of that. She doesn't rebel for the sake of rebellion, nor does she seek to prove a point. She simply refuses to be intimidated. And that quiet defiance unsettles those who thrive on control. Authority figures, bosses, teachers, leaders are used to people reacting in predictable ways. Some bow their heads and obey. Others challenge authority in loud, reckless ways, making themselves easy targets. But the Sigma female stands in the middle, unmoved, unimpressed, unreadable. She doesn't break the rules just to prove she can, but she also won't follow them blindly. If a rule makes sense, she follows it. If it doesn't, she won't. No explanation, no debate. And that makes authority figures uneasy. They sense it in the way she carries herself. She doesn't look for validation, doesn't seek permission, doesn't flinch under pressure. She listens, but never with the wide-eyed eagerness of someone desperate to please. She remains calm, observing, calculating, almost as if she's studying them instead of the other way around. And that shakes them to their core because power, at its core, is an illusion. It works best when people believe in it, when they react to it. But a Sigma female doesn't react. She doesn't fear titles, doesn't get starstruck by status. She respects competence, not rank. And when someone in power realizes that their influence has no effect on her, no fear, no admiration, no submission, it forces them to question themselves. They may not know why, but they feel it, that unsettling awareness that they don't control her, that their authority is meaningless in her world. And in that moment, they're left wondering who really holds the power. Number 8. They absorb chaos like a black hole. Most people crumble under chaos. They flinch, panic, and look to others for reassurance. But a Sigma female doesn't just survive, she absorbs it. She remains unervingly calm when everything is falling apart. And that alone is enough to unsettle those who rely on shared panic to validate their own emotions. In high-pressure situations, the usual social script is clear. People expect fear, anger, or emotional outbursts. They expect others to mirror their stress, to react dramatically, to join in the storm. But the Sigma female doesn't play along. While others spiral, she watches. While they react, she calculates. It's not that she doesn't feel pressure, it's that she processes it differently. Instead of being consumed by the chaos, she studies it, adapts to it, and uses it to her advantage. This is what makes her presence so unnerving. When someone is screaming, breaking down, or losing control, they expect a response, sympathy, outrage, or shared anxiety. But when they look at her, they find nothing. Just a steady, unreadable presence. She doesn't flinch, doesn't get dragged into the emotional whirlwind. And that makes people uncomfortable, because panic is a social phenomenon. It spreads when people feed into it. But when one person refuses to engage, it disrupts the entire cycle. Her calmness feels unnatural, almost eerie, like she knows something they don't. People start second-guessing their own reactions. Why isn't she panicking? By not engaging in the chaos, she spots the solutions. And by the time everyone else catches up, she's already moved forward, leaving them wondering how she stayed so unshaken while they lost themselves in the storm. Number 9. They make betrayal feel like a death sentence. Most people handle betrayal with anger, confrontation, or messy revenge. They demand explanations, throw accusations, or hold on to resentment, allowing the betrayer to stay in their mind, whether through conflict or pain. But a Sigma female doesn't waste her time. She does something far more chilling. She erases you. One day you exist in her world, the next you don't. There's no dramatic goodbye, no warning shot, no drawn-out argument, just silence, a complete emotional blackout. And that cuts deeper than any words ever could. Betrayal doesn't get a second chance with her. She won't play games, won't entertain apologies, won't let you linger in her mind like an open wound. The moment trust is broken, she rewires herself as if you were never there. And what makes this so terrifying is that she means it. She doesn't fake indifference, she becomes indifferent. The connection you once had is gone. The warmth in her eyes when she looked at you is extinguished. For the person on the receiving end, it's a psychological shock. They expect anger. They expect a fight. They expect something because even negative attention would confirm that they still matter. But when they get nothing, when they're met with cold, unshakable silence, that's when it truly sinks in. They've lost her, not just for now, but forever. And that's why betrayal feels like a death sentence when it comes to a Sigma female. It's not just rejection, it's erasure. She doesn't need revenge. She doesn't need to prove anything. She simply moves forward, leaving the betrayer to grapple with a truth they never saw coming. They were disposable all along. Number 10. They read people like a crime scene investigation. Most people listen to what's being said. Sigma females pay attention to what isn't. Every glance, every hesitation, every shift in tone, nothing escapes them. They don't just observe, they analyze, and they do it with the precision of a detective walking through a crime scene. A fake smile? They catch the stiffness around the eyes. A confident speech? They hear the tremor in the voice. A casual excuse? They pick up on the hesitation before the words come out. Most people assume they can hide behind practiced expressions and carefully chosen words, but a Sigma female sees straight through the performance. It's not magic, it's pattern recognition. Over time, she's learned how to detect inconsistencies in people's behavior, the tiny cracks in their carefully built facades. She notices when someone's body language doesn't match their words, when a story sounds rehearsed instead of real, when forced enthusiasm masks underlying tension. And once she catches on to something, she files it away quietly, discreetly, waiting for the moment it all clicks into place. This ability makes her unsettling to those who rely on deception. They sense that she knows, even if she never directly calls them out. She doesn't need to. The weight of being seen so clearly is often enough to make liars uncomfortable in her presence. At the same time, this skill makes her an invaluable ally to those who are genuine. She recognizes sincerity just as easily as she detects deceit. She knows when someone's intentions are pure, when words carry real weight, when actions align with character. And for those who have nothing to hide, being understood on such a deep level is rare and refreshing. A Sigma female doesn't just listen, she deciphers. And by the time most people realize they've been read like an open book, she's already turned the page. Your power isn't in how others perceive you. It's in how unshaken you remain. The truth is, Sigma females don't set out to be unsettling. They don't walk into a room thinking, let me shake people up today. But their presence alone does it. The way they see without being seen, move without explaining, and understand without being told, it's enough to make even the most confident people second guess themselves. But let's be clear, this is not a weakness. This is not something to fix or tone down. This is what sets you apart. People fear what they can't control, and a Sigma female is the embodiment of uncontrollable. You are not easily influenced, not emotionally swayed, and certainly not here to play along with shallow expectations. That unsettles people, but it also earns you a level of respect most will never achieve. So own it. Own the fact that you don't seek validation, but still command attention. Own the fact that you move in silence, yet always seem to be 5 steps ahead. Own the fact that some people will feel exposed around you, not because you intend to intimidate, but because you reflect back to them everything they try to hide. At the end of the day, your power isn't in making people uncomfortable. It's in being so deeply yourself that the world has no choice but to adjust. Keep being that force. Keep moving with quiet certainty. And never apologize for being the kind of woman who doesn't just exist. She leaves an imprint. Stay true to yourself. To all the spicy ladies make life beautiful, thank you for watching and God bless.